Hi, it's Martin, and we're just going to run a little video here to show you how to update the firmware in some control panels. At the moment you can see my control panel here, 2.1, has actually got a firmware version of 4.13 development, which is fairly old and probably isn't what we actually want in the field. So we're going to update this. We can update this using the flash tool, so we click on here and this will open. This is within your iCanSoft, and then a couple of options here. Most times what we can actually do is just simply search the network and you'll see all of the devices. I'm going to just change this back to all matching, which is where it normally opens up, and so let's just do a search. Now you can also put the filter on here so you don't get devices that you don't want to actually reflash, or don't want to clutter the screen too much. So I'm just going to put in here classic control panels. I could also put in a segment and a node number. Segment with a 0 in here would mean all of the devices in a particular segment, but again we've only got 2 here, so I'm just going to do a search. There's the 2 panels we were just looking at in iCanSoft. I'm now going to just select the panels I want to update because I can do multiples of them in one go. Right, so click on both of those. If this is set to all matching, then automatically with the latest version of iCanSoft, or even an earlier one, but ideally the latest version, then you'll see the latest version of code shown in there. So 4.03, exactly what we actually want. All we've actually got to do is hit the upload button, and this takes a couple of minutes to do, but you're doing multiples of them at the same time, so you can go off and do other things in iCanSoft, probably not with the panels while it's doing this, or you can just wait whilst it actually happens. In iCanSoft, if we just go back here, just so you can see what's occurring, if we turn this on, you can see there's lots of messages going past on the screen. So it's making the network a bit busy, but it shouldn't be an issue. It's not running that fast. Let's go back to our updating. Well, it's another screen I've got running. Let's just go back to this one, and we'll see the. If you find that you can't get this to actually start, or you get some message to say it won't go, could be worth trying to click on blast go idle followed by the search of the network. The only difference will be is you won't see the room number, or these room numbers here underneath the name, and also you won't see the firmware version, but you just start it to actually upload in exactly the same way. The information at the end here gives you the part number of the board layout number, EM8151, and then this gives you the bootloader version which we're actually using at the time. Useful information if something particularly technical comes up, but normally you wouldn't actually need that information, but it's there available for us. So you can see the progress bar at the bottom, and once this is actually finished, all that will happen is it will just stop, and ideally there will be nothing in that event log window at the bottom of the screen. Once we've done that, we'll go back into iCanSoft, and we need to actually update this section here purely for reference purposes. I mean, you can continue using what you've actually got on the screen at the moment. As I say, there's no disruption to the configuration as a result of reflashing the panel, but I could just click on refresh and you'll see that this will change to 4.03p when it's actually done. So let's just see where we are. A little bit way further to go. Some of the features which we've now got in the panel, if I just show you some of these which you couldn't use, we've got a couple of extra things. We've actually got the scene toggle feature, and there's also the daylight linking, movement and no movement commands. you'd use the daylight linking in order to, for example, set this button here to be daylight linking area 21. You'd normally have this as a resume function. So that means you can walk into a room, push the button. If you're using things like the NS3C sensor or the UIS, this will communicate with that and automatically resume the lighting into the daylight linking mode based on the light that the sensor's actually seeing. Okay, must be nearly done now. Very close. Okay, so you could just in here, if you wanted to just verify the version, you could just do a search, a clear and a search, or we can just close that because I'm confident it's actually done. If I go back to here and I click on refresh, we find that the firmware updates. We can do exactly the same on this one. Refresh, and you'll see down here that a message did go out and said get the firmware version, and the firmware version is 4.03. Okay, should work fine.